If you are a Salesforce developer and appearing for an interview, these questions can help you a lot. So the first question is how to throw exception inside the batch classes. Now you might be thinking we can use stateful and collect the errors, but this is just to show an error message. What kind of error message, or how many records are processed, or how many records have got error and how many have not got it. But what if you want to throw an exception? How do we do with this? Now to do that, what you have to do is you have to use database dot raise platform events. So this is one of the interface with the help of which you can throw an exception inside the batch class. So what you have to do is you have to implement this implement this particular interface, and as soon as you do that, you need to create an public class within the main class. You have to create a public class with of type application exception, which will extend the exception itself. Okay, now once you do that, what you need to do is within your execute method of your batch class, you can use throw new, this application exception, that the class that you have created at the top. You can just use this, and then here with the help of this you can throw whatever they're like, I don't like this, or this is error. So you can, this is how you can basically throw an error message using the database.raise platform event. So if you want to throw an exception inside the batch classes, you can use database.raise platform events. Let's move on to the next question. What is the maximum number of SQL queries allowed inside the batch classes? So first of all, for one thing to notice is batch class is an asynchronous apex. Okay, and in synchronous apex usually the limit is 100. So within one transaction you can query up to 100 SQLs. Okay, you can perform 100 SQL. But what in the case of asynchronous, it's around 200. So basically whenever you run out of the query in asynchronous apex, you get 201 SQL query. Just like 101, you get 201 SQL query error. So because the in asynchronous apex the limit is 200, while in synchronous it's 100. So the maximum number of SQL queries within a single transaction inside the batch class is 200. So let's move on to the next question, that when do we use batch classes versus when do we use future epics with a real-time example. So first of all, let's understand what exactly the batch class is. Batch class is basically used to execute larger number of the records. But when do we use batch classes and when do we use future epics? So whenever you want that, but first of all, both of them are asynchronous apex only. Now if you want that asynchronous apex should be executed as a separate entity, okay, asynchronous as a separate entity, in that cases we go with the batch classes. Now for an example, if I want a particular separate class which is going to do this asynchronous apex asynchronous job, I need a separate class, and I am going to execute it. Okay, I'm going to write the code, I'm going to write the script for it, and I'm going to execute it. In that cases we go with the batch class. On the other hand, let's say while doing an automation we want to execute this particular asynchronous apex code. For an example, if the account field is updated, or if I change the ownership of the account to something else, to the queue or something like that, and in that cases I want to execute this asynchronous apex, that's where I go with the future apex. So whenever we want that particular asynchronous apex should be executed as a separate entity, that's where we go with the batch classes, whereas we use future apex whenever we want that the asynchronous apex should happen along with the automation itself. So this was all about the interview questions that we had discussed in the previous shot. If you found this video helpful, I request you to please like this video and subscribe to my channel.